Hey, this is Crafty here. I'm going to be talking about some life-changing clothing of mine. Yeah, I have to take this jacket off to be able to explain more. Okay, so, I'm not going to lie to you. These t-shirts themselves haven't changed my life, but it's the stories that the t-shirts are going to help represent.
We want Chili Willy! We want Chili Willy!
Lo and behold, this is my first t-shirt. Red Hot Chili Peppers t-shirt. The t-shirt itself, I think I got cheap from Kmart, I think. I love that they're doing that these days. So the reason why I'm talking about this t-shirt, the Red Hot Chili Peppers, is because they were the very first band that I saw in concert. Actually, the first one was the Seekers. My grandma had bought our whole family tickets and we sat in the front row and it was awesome, except... my first real concert that I went along to myself was Red Hot Chili Peppers on their One Hot Minute tour. Yes, I was in year 10 at the time. I was getting into the Chili Peppers, getting into guitar, and so I thought I must go and see a live band in concert. And none of my mates wanted to go along with me. Actually, to be honest, I can't remember how many mates I had at that time. I was probably in my bedroom playing guitar, just practicing by myself a lot.
I said, don't disturb me when I'm cleaning my room!
And so I went along by myself. My dad dropped me off and waited there to pick me up, bless him. And it was a very memorable experience, very life-changing because, I hadn't really been to a proper band concert before. And it must have rubbed off on me because I am now a full-time musician and I like playing guitar, rocking out on stage really regularly. So it must have made an impression on me. Now, little did I know how life-changing this would be because there was a support band that I'd never heard before. I had no idea what their songs were. It was a band called Regurgitator, and they were supporting the Red Hot Chili Peppers there. Ooh. And this t-shirt is the album cover of their first album called Two Playing. And so what's really funny is when I look back now, I just remember how foreign this band was to me, and I didn't like them. Yeah, for those that know me, I'm a big Regurgitator fan. They've become my favourite band since then. And I think it's hilarious that I didn't really like them at the time. Actually, I thought they sucked.
Donkey Kong sucks.
You know something? You suck.
And then took a little bit of time, maybe a bit over a year or so, but then eventually they just, over time, gradually became my favourite band, my actual favourite. And so isn't it funny how, I could have not gone to this concert because, I didn't have any mates to go with, or I just could have had the flu and not been able to go. So who's your favourite artist? And why are they your favourite artist? For me, Regurgitator is a band that does so many different genres of music. They also are quite quirky, and so I just love them. I can't get enough. And what was your first concert? Just quickly on the subject of favourite bands, whenever anybody asks me what my favourite band is, depends. Sometimes I kind of think the Beatles, sometimes I think Regurgitator, and so usually these days I'll just say both because they both have such an eclectic, large mix of music to be able to consume, and I just can't get enough because there's just so much to take in. Now, for this next t-shirt, this is interesting. I'm sitting in front of a green screen, so I don't know if this is going to make it look like that I'm just a head and arms. But so this t-shirt was a gift because, like Regurgitator and the Beatles, people know that I love those bands, but they also know that I love the TV show Seinfeld. So much so that my Year 12 report card is a reflection on how much I love the show, because I felt like that when I was in Year 12, basically all I did was sit at home, play a bunch of guitar, write a few songs, and I had a band that I just started in that year as well. So my music was going alright, whereas I watched a lot of Seinfeld.
Highlighter?
Excuse me?
To highlight the programs you plan to watch?
And that was very much so the reason why when I got my Year 12 report card, I'm reading it, and music, I did pretty well. Got an A, and everything else was So thankfully I passed. So maybe if I had that time again, I would put more time into those other subjects. But the beauty about that particular situation for me, reading that report card and seeing, I've got a really good score for music and everything else not so well, was that really validated my passion for music, and not having a clue what I wanted to do after year 12 made me sort of feel a lot more comfortable and a lot more, I guess, allowed to be able to pursue this weird dream of being able to become something to do with music. I didn't really know what at the time. Now, thankfully, that moment helped spur me on to be able to become the full-time musician that I am. So before I get to my next t-shirt, is there anything that you feel weird about in your life? Is there any type of situation that you may think may be able to help you feel less weird about that? Because, yeah, for me, it really helped me, and I didn't know that it was going to be able to help me before it became a situation, before I was able to actually read it in black and white in front of me. But, yeah, so have a think. What is there something that's weird in your life, and is there something that you could be able to do? Is there an externalization that would be able to help you feel less weird about that? Alright, so this t-shirt here was the inspiration for me putting together this video with different t-shirts, because I was wearing it one day and then I was telling a friend of mine this particular story I'm about to tell you. So if you haven't heard of Helmet, they were a 90s grungy drop D tuning style band. And when I discovered them, I just absolutely fell in love with them and listened to them all the time. And then I found out that they broke up.
You can actually pinpoint the second when his heart rips in half. And now.
Yeah, have you ever had that happen to you? You go like, oh wow, I'd love to be able to find out more about this band. I hope they bring out new music. I hope I can see them live in concert. And then you find out, no. Now that happens for a lot of different types of music, so I got over it and I followed my dream, my path of wanting to become a musician myself, creating my own music and going on a tour with a band, that type of thing. And so a few years later, that happened with my band, The Secret Game, and we were away interstate on tour, and we were in Darwin in the Northern Territory, and all of a sudden I got an email from one of those concert ticket promoter people, and they had sent an email saying that Helmet are doing a tour and they'll be performing at my hometown in Adelaide. And I was so excited, like all of these feelings from years ago of the connection that I had listening to Helmet. I just thought, yes, wow. Some things don't die. Some things come back to life and you can go and experience them when you thought that you never could have. And so I was super pumped to be able to buy a concert ticket and everything, and then I'd realise, I'm like, no. This is going to clash with me being on the road with my band, The Secret Game, doing gigs myself. And I was like, so confused, because on one hand, the younger, youthful enthusiasm that I shared for this band had a chance to be able to go further. And then on the other hand, I was doing everything that I wanted to do. I was living my dream of wanting to pursue my own musical goals. And so it was such a juggling act of giving versus receiving. So yeah, it was such a character building moment. I had to ask myself, what is more important? Would I rather be giving some music to the world, or would I rather be receiving some music that I really enjoy? It was quite tough there for a few moments, but then when it came down to it for me, what I had to decide to, I guess, make the best of that situation is I had to sort of think, well, alright, even if I'm on a crappy stage playing to hardly any audience and it's not a great musical situation, I had to choose that that's what I wanted for me. Now, I don't know what you would choose in your situation, and I'm sure that maybe that there has been times in my life where that may be slightly different response that I would come up with. But yeah, what is important to you? What is more important, being able to give music or receiving it? The beauty is that there's no right or wrong answer. For me, I just had to choose that for me at the time. But for you, let me know. What is yours? Watching that movie called This Is Spinal Tap, that changed my life. This, incidentally, is a great t-shirt. Keep calm and go to 11. If you've seen the movie, you understand that reference. If you haven't, go and watch Spinal Tap. The premise of the movie, they call it a rockumentary because it's a rock band that's on the road and you just see what it's like to be in a band on the road and all this stuff just goes wrong to them, and it's awesome. It's a bit painful at times, but it's really awesome. At the time when I watched it, like, it's a bit of a B-grade quality movie made in the 80s, and so when I watched it, it would have been at least the late 90s. And I watched it thinking like, I don't know if I want to make it to the end. But I'm super glad that I did, because anytime that I can connect with a musician that has seen it, automatically our connection level is just higher. There's so many gold quotes from it, kind of like the movie Anchorman, where there's a lot of really good quotes from it. Spinal Tap is super jam-packed full of quotes, and when you're stuck being in the music industry all the time, sometimes you need that Minties style moment where something goes wrong, and then if someone just mentions a Spinal Tap quote, well then it's not necessarily going to fix the situation, but it's going to make you feel a lot better. So this t-shirt in particular, just the movie Spinal Tap, this is Spinal Tap, has changed my life. This is a special sentimental t-shirt for me. It is my Rainbow Vox t-shirt, and Rainbow Vox was a high school girls choir that I used to accompany on guitar. And so think about that for a second. I used to accompany a high school girls choir, and so my musical compadre Danny, she is a bloody legend, because she felt comfortable in having me being the only male in something that she conceived to be just a chance for a bunch of girls to be able to hang out with each other and do some singing. And she saw something in me that made her comfortable, and then thankfully all of the girls, at least I think so, I hope so, that they were all comfortable in having me around and be able to accompany them while they sang. And so we did a bunch of performances together, and it was a really good time. Alright, this is the last t-shirt on my list, and I'm gonna have to do this so that you can see it. This was a gift from my mate Steve. Thanks for getting this for me, Steve. So I guess everyone that knows me will know that I always carry a kazoo around me, and so this t-shirt as a gift was a no-brainer for him to be able to get for me, because I'm the guy that just every so often, for instance, if it's someone's birthday, maybe just as a nice random gesture, I'll go and it's more than just being random. It is actually a quite handy thing to have around, because if I'm performing solo, for instance, with an acoustic guitar, and all of a sudden there's like either a saxophone or a flute or a keyboard part that I can't play while I'm doing the guitar part, well then it becomes really quite handy to just be able to go and so forth. And maybe you want to be able to do a solo in a song and it's only you performing, so doing a kazoo solo is, let's just say that it's the best way of doing a solo if you don't have any backing, that is. Another really interesting thing about the kazoo is that if you have several of them, and like they cost about a few dollars, so you could buy a few of them, and then if you've got any friends that are a bit insecure or a bit on edge about singing in front of other people, well, a kazoo is a great way to be able to get people to be able to at least practice their pitch. And it's really fun, and let's face it, it's the best sounding instrument out there. Alright, that's it. I don't own any more t-shirts. Yeah, that's a lie. For those that know me, I probably own at least 10 Regurgitator t-shirts. So what was this video like for you? Was it a bit random, or was there anything that was kind of thought-provoking and made you think, yeah, I remember my first concert, or whatever. So yeah, let me know in the comments below. Also, what items of clothing have changed your life? Let me know. I'd love to know what t-shirts or dresses or pants. What about socks? Yeah, let me know. And if you haven't done so yet, follow me on whatever the socials that you like to frequent. I have Crafty Music Tips TikTok now, but really the best place to be able to discuss anything that is something that you're focusing on right now with your music is in the Crafty Music Tips Facebook group. It's a private Facebook group. Just go in and wait for me to approve you, and then yeah, we can discuss anything and everything music. So my name's Crafty. I hope this video was somewhat entertaining as well. I'll see you in another video really soon. Take care.